Bob Ferguson, governor-elect. And even though he won't be in the Attorney General's office next year, which at least that is a plus, I suppose, although we're getting just another version of him. More diverse version, at least, right? DEI, hashtag progress or something. He held a press conference today about how the Attorney General's office is essentially going to pursue frivolous lawsuits against the Trump administration. Have you noticed that all the governors of blue states are coming out and holding these press conferences about how they're readying things in their offices, or attorney generals are doing it? We're readying we're Trump-proofing our state.
It's just so pedantic.
But it's also just coordinated and pathetic, and people understand that. And yet again, dare I say, because even in deeply blue states, y'all understand that you guys got at least more purple. Considerable numbers for Donald Trump, including in California, in New York, saw huge jumps 2020 to 2024. More people voted in 2020. And he saw more support in this last election. So coming out a day, 2 days later, talking about how you're going to do everything you can to stymie Donald Trump and slow him down with lawsuits, not a great move. It's almost as dumb as calling Latinos and blacks misogynist for not supporting Kamala Harris. But Bob Ferguson came out today alongside the Attorney General-elect Nick Brown so that they can pretend that they're worried about what could happen, and then pretend that people are coming up to them and saying, "Bob," in tears. "I was walking down my trail, and then all of a sudden a woman with a walking stick and that thing that kind of looks like a ski pole but isn't, so she can navigate up the trail wearing cargo shorts, green."
She had a cloudy eye.
Yes. She was missing an arm, and her shorts were kind of like Daisy Dukes. And you're wondering why a 63-year-old would be wearing them. But okay, wearing socks pulled up all the way to her knees, in those big hiking boots that weigh 13 pounds each, which is why she needs a walking stick. Why don't you get rid of the shoes that weigh that much? You'll be fine. Where are you going? She's got that little hat on. You know exactly the hat I'm talking about. In tears, saying, "Won't you protect us from Donald Trump, please?"
I know that there are many people in Washington State who are feeling a range of emotions from the presidential election results.
I'm feeling joy. How about you?
Great.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it's a range, I suppose. But.
Yeah, I guess. Although our range is not that rangy, is it? It's kind of just in one corner of the range. We're doing fine.
I know that because I went on a short day hike yesterday, and multiple people on that trail stopped me on the trail to express their thoughts.
You know that's not true, right, everyone? You know he's making this up, right? Are we all on the same page here? You know he just made that story up.
About the presidential election, and to ask what this office in the state of Washington would be doing in preparation for the Trump presidency. I want those Washingtonians to know that the Attorney General's office has been preparing for quite some time and feel prepared to defend their freedoms and protect their rights.
You're not going to be the Attorney General, though, so why is it up to you to say that? It's odd.
It was weird how in this press conference, Nick Brown hardly talked at all. It was mostly just Bob.
Yeah, it's because Bob is a narcissist. But here's how they've been preparing for the Trump threat.
My team has gone line by line through Project 2025 and has been tracking remarks by President Trump on the campaign trail.
He's making this up. Everything he just said there is made up. No one went line by line Project 2025. And no, they haven't been monitoring the comments of. But I do like the idea that his uber left staff had to read Project 2024, which is like 900 pages, and then watch every single rally from Donald Trump.
And then they just lit on fire.
Right? I kind of love it. That's why so many of his staff members today had to have a mental health day. Some of them are having a mental health week. Oh, God. Let's continue to hear him pretend that he's preparing for something.
We have, of course, been speaking with other attorneys general with their legal teams and legal directors at key organizations throughout Washington State and across the country.
That part's real because they all got the memo that said, hey, you're going to have to hold this press conference today, tomorrow, the next day, and basically say the same exact things. Here's the talking points. Just insert your state. It's just like a Mad Libs of partisanship. It's a partisan Mad Libs. Here, just fill in some of the blanks. So what are some of the policies that we can expect that we need Bob Ferguson, even though he's not going to be the Attorney General, to protect us from?
Just a few examples.
Okay, let's do it.
Enforcing the Comstock Act, which is a 1873 law that Donald Trump could use to try and criminalize or severely restrict abortion and birth control nationwide.
So that's nonsense. He's not going to do that. He's not doing the Comstock Act. Do people, I know the left are pretending to be terrified, and some legitimately are terrified because of bad faith actors like Bob Ferguson, believe that Donald Trump's going to come after abortion and now suddenly birth control. You think Donald Trump is against birth control? In what world do you actually believe that? Has he ever even said anything, or has he even used the words birth control?
Nothing comes to mind, no.
This he's against birth. Donald Trump is against birth control?
The billionaire playboy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just okay.
Eliminating or weakening DACA, the program, of course, that protects more than 500,000 dreamers.
Yeah, DACA is actually still being argued in court. I don't think people realize it. It's still going through the court system and the way that it was implemented. So he might not have to do anything with DACA because it is, in fact, unconstitutional, and the way that it was put out via the executive branch was, in fact, wrong.
For whom the United States is the only country that they know. Rewriting federal law to remove nearly all protections for LGBTQ Americans, from education to healthcare to the workplace.
What about the Two-Spirit? I didn't realize that the president could just rewrite laws like that. Now, there's some policies that come from the executive branch, right? Title IX protections, for example. And really what Ferguson is talking about there is Donald Trump might, and he probably will, fingers crossed, make a move to prevent transgender girls who are biological boys from competing against biological girls in high school sports. I know. I get the gall of him to take a position that 72% of the country agrees with. How dare he? That's just wrong. That's just wrong. I saw a story today, caught my attention, where two Democrats have come out and said, actually, on the whole transgender rights thing, yeah, we're actually with the Republicans on this one. They came out, at least as it relates to sports competitions. Congressman Seth Moulton of, where is he, Michigan?
I think he's Ohio.
I think you're right. Massachusetts, yeah. He came out today and said, yeah, no, I'm with the other side on this one. He had to wait until after the election, I suppose, to do that for some unknown reason. And the other one was Tom Suozzi, or Suozzi, from New York. He told the New York Times yesterday, the Democrats have to stop pandering to the far left. I don't want to discriminate against anybody, but I don't think biological boys should be playing in girls' sports. Democrats aren't saying that, and they should be. I agree with that. Kind of feels like for the last year of this campaign, we've been saying precisely that. I saw a clip from CNN, a Democratic strategist, one of the 14 million that appear on CNN. I don't even know what it makes. What makes you a strategist at this point to get on television? I don't know. You just say it. You're just a Democrat with an opinion, and you happen to know a booking producer. And God bless her, she was on saying, hey, y'all keep calling Latinos Latinx. Can you stop that? Dummies, doesn't work. I don't know why you're doing it. You sound pretentious. Oh, that's why you're doing it? You sound like you're only doing it so that you can say that you're somehow evolved on the issue. Oh, is that the only reason? It's just a virtue signal? She even used the phrase virtue signal. It's almost like they're getting it. And that's why I said on Wednesday, which was yesterday. God, this is the longest week ever. It's a long
It really
week.
is.
Feels like it's next Thursday, but it's this Thursday. I said we are probably experiencing the slow death of the DE&I movement, the identity politics movement. And I say slow because there's going to be a ton of resistance. And it's not going to die for a bit. It's just going to be on kind of life support. There's going to be the crazy people who don't want to pull the plug, but the patient's unfortunately brain dead and it's just being kept alive. Ironically, they're taking kind of a conservative position of not wanting to pull the plug, but still, you get it. They just don't want to let it die, so they're going to really lean into it. And I'm okay with them doing that now because they don't have power. And it's just going to ensure that they stay out of power. So now actually I'm talking myself out of giving kudos to the Democratic strategist because she should just shut up. I'm now totally okay with the people who don't have control, who don't have power, coming out and continuing this garbage because it helped deliver a Donald Trump presidency. Now, as you pointed out, Jackson, Nick Brown, the Attorney General-elect, he was there. He kind of had to say, okay, hey, Bob, can I, it's going to be my office. Can I maybe sneak in there and chat? And Bob was all like, fine, you can have 26 seconds, but I just want you to focus on the experience you have fighting on my behalf via these frivolous lawsuits against the Trump administration.
My last 6 months working with Governor Inslee as his counsel were the first 6 months of the first Trump administration. And I remember very vividly when the first travel ban came out and the work that this office did and to help prepare from the governor's office perspective for the challenges that we had ahead. And it was the first of very many lawsuits, the vast majority of which were successful in defending Washington values and defending rights and defending the people of this state.
He's such a hero, right? Isn't he such a hero? Don't you want to just shake his hand and get some of that God complex to transfer over just so you can feel heroic?
I hope it'll rub off on me.
God, I'm going to do God's work too, just like Nick Brown tells us he does. Oh, dear God. Part of me is so excited about the future because of the Donald Trump win, the Senate going to control of Republicans, but then I remember I live in Washington, and we just made a whole bunch of really dumb decisions, and by we, I mean them.